Hi guys, Jay Walker here, and I'm in the Ford Ranger Raptor. Now I named this the best pickup of 2019, and a lot of you seem to agree with me because this is one of the best selling pickups last year. So the last time we got to drive this, we got to take it off-road, and that was one of the most fun things that I've done on four wheels.
Yeah, you can see the power here.
This time we'll actually get to borrow it for a couple of days, and we'll get to find out what it's like as a daily driver. So we'll take it on a road trip to Tagaytay. We'll try to do everyday things with it. We'll take it to the mall, we'll park it in tight parking spaces, and we'll try to load some heavy stuff at the back. So is it worth your money? Let's find out. Okay, so before we go on our road trip, let's take another look at the Ranger Raptor's exterior. So it's been 2 years since the Ranger Raptor was launched, and up until now, I don't think any other pickup comes even remotely close to matching the Ranger Raptor in terms of forma. Not even its bigger brother, the F-150. It looks like a war machine. It looks wide, it looks angry, it definitely looks intimidating. It's about 6 inches wider than the regular Ranger, and that is a difference that is very noticeable. And the good thing about it is that it's not just wide because it has wider wheels or because it has flared fenders. It's wider because it has longer suspension arms for better off-road performance. So this is not one of those trucks that's all show but no go. It is show, but it is also go. One difference between the 2019 and the 2020 models are the tires. The 2020 models get the same meaty 285/70/17 tires, but they're a different brand now. The 2019 models came with BF Goodrich tires. The newer models come with Goodyear tires. As for differences in performance and road noise, I don't notice any difference. But I'd have to say the Goodyear tires look better, mostly because of the white lettering on the tires. The grille is the centerpiece here. The Ford lettering on the grille is almost as big as the grille itself. This is a halo pickup for Ford, and it's not being subtle about it. It looks like the designers took the term halo truck too literally and made the Ford Ranger Raptor a billboard on wheels. Not that I'm complaining, I think it looks good. I like the fact that it looks proud of itself. Just because it's a macho off-roader pickup doesn't mean that you can't have a nice interior. The interior looks premium as far as pickups go. You have a leather-wrapped dashboard. The steering wheel is leather-wrapped and it's very nicely padded. The seats are a mix of leather and what looks like Alcantara or velour. And you have Apple badging all over the interior. You have badging on the seats, on the steering wheel. So you're always reminded that you're driving the most badass pickup in the Philippine market. Other than that, the interior looks mostly the same compared to the Wildtrak. You don't get air vents at the back, but the front air vents are more than enough to cool the entire cabin. You get an AC outlet though, which I think is more important. Okay, like all variants of the Ranger Raptor also supports voice commands. So let's say you want to adjust the climate, you can just say set the temperature to 15.5 degrees.
Setting temperature to 15.5 degrees.
Or you can say FM 89.9.
Tuning to FM 89.9.
So the Ranger Raptor has lane keep assist. So what that basically does is, if you change lanes without using your turn signal, it'll try to resist your steering input. The steering wheel will feel stiffer. I think it's a very useful feature, but if you don't need it, you can just turn it off by pressing this button over here. The Ranger Raptor has paddle shifters. The shifting isn't very quick, but I guess it's quick enough for most people. You're not really driving a race car anyway. So over here you have your differential lock. This is your hill descent control and your traction control. You have a couple of USB ports here. You have one down here, another USB port over here, and a 12-volt outlet over here. You also get dual zone climate control. And what else? We got an 8-inch screen, which is competitive in this segment. You have a reverse camera with active guidelines, and you have front and rear parking sensors. Anyway, I've talked about the interior and the exterior in my past reviews. In this video, we'll focus more on what the driving experience is like. So without further ado, let's go on that road trip. Okay, so I'm joined again on this road trip by my girlfriend and camera person, Bethel. Taking EDSA from Quezon City to Magallanes with moderate traffic, I averaged around 9.2 kpl. Of course, fuel efficiency would vary depending on your driving habits. In this case, I was driving conservatively, meaning I did step on the gas a couple of times, but it was mostly conservative driving. NVH levels are pretty good, the ride quality is the best in its class. And we'll talk about it more later. For now, let's do a time lapse. Okay, so here it is, our final destination. This is Charito Bag of Beans. It's a restaurant slash cafe in Tagaytay. It has a pretty good view of Lake Taal. The ambiance is pretty good. You feel like you're in a cruise ship. You have some ornate decorations. You have a chandelier. You have this classy looking staircase over here. As a proud Kuripot, the price of the food is very important to me. And the food here is, I would say, decently priced. It's not cheap, but it's not too expensive either. Expect to pay around 300 pesos to 400 pesos per dish. And the servings are pretty big. So if you're in tipid mode, you can share one dish with whoever you're with. I ordered lasagna. And Bethel ordered a breakfast meal with bacon, pancakes, and we also ordered blueberry cheesecake. I liked the bacon, it was sweet and crunchy. The blueberry cheesecake was above average. The lasagna tasted like lasagna, it was nothing special. It's not bad, it's just not that memorable. Anyway, the food was good, but it's the view that you pay for here. You get a very good view of Lake Taal. It's a good place to take selfies if you're into that. Okay, so on the way back, I tried to hypermile the Ranger Raptor a bit. Okay, I drove at 80 to 100 kph, never stepping on the gas too much. I got an average of 15.7 kpl until the traffic got bad along S-Lex. NVH levels on the Raptor are very good, and this is true of most Ranger and Everest models. Because they come with active noise cancellation, you only get reminded that you're driving a diesel when you roll the windows down. Until you step on it, you can barely hear the engine. When you do step on it though, you hear a pretty raspy tone, which sounds pretty good. Surprisingly, even with the aggressive pattern on the tires, you don't hear a lot of tire noise. And even if it looks like it has the aerodynamics of a barn, there's not a lot of wind noise. The Ranger Raptor is equipped with lane keep assist. Unlike in other systems, it doesn't just give you an audible warning, it actually resists your steering input if you don't use your turn signal. It doesn't prevent you from turning the wheel, it just adds more resistance. If you don't know what's happening, it's kind of jarring at first. If you don't like it, you can turn it off or you can reduce the intensity of the effect. But it will help promote good driving habits. At least you'll be more motivated to use your turn signals now. And it will also improve safety. If you ever fall asleep on the wheel, it will make sure that you will stay in your lane. It also has automatic emergency braking, which will apply the brakes automatically for you if it detects an impending collision. You can turn that off too if you don't mind bumping into things. The Ranger Raptor has the best ride quality of any pickup or PPV that I've driven. Speed humps feel like they're made of pillows, and you can barely feel potholes. After all, this is a truck that's designed to handle jumps without breaking itself or your back, so your average pothole isn't gonna be much of a threat to it. It handles pretty well in the corners. It doesn't roll too much. In terms of power, when I first drove the Ranger Raptor off-road, it felt powerful. It could plow through mud and water without breaking a sweat. The Ranger Raptor has a class-leading 500 Nm of torque, which is more important than horsepower when off-roading. On paved roads though, it feels a bit more tame. It has 210 horsepower, which is still class-leading, but it's by no means sports car-like. Okay, so just don't expect it to accelerate like a sports car, and you won't be disappointed. The Ranger Raptor is a large pickup, but so is every other Ranger. It is 6 inches wider, but it's only wider at the wheels. The body is the same width as the regular Rangers, so you don't have to worry about your doors hitting the car next to you. Like all Rangers, the turning radius is pretty wide. It is a matter of getting used to it. I've had a Ranger XLT, so I'm kind of used to pickups this long, so parking is not an issue for me. The suspension soaks up road imperfections really well. Pwede mo iakyat sa mga island o sa mga gutter, and you can barely feel that it's there. Overall, if you can drive a Ranger or any other pickup, I don't think you'd have problems with the Ford Ranger Raptor. Okay, so I said I was gonna put some heavy cargo at the back, but the cargo capacity of the Ranger Raptor is 1,200 pounds, and I don't have anything that heavy that I could put at the back. Okay, the Ranger Raptor has a softer suspension system than the other Rangers. That's for better off-road performance and also for better ride quality. The trade-off is that you get slightly less cargo capacity. The cargo capacity of the Wildtrak is 1,800 pounds, which is higher than the Ranger Raptor's 1,200 pounds. I think 1,200 pounds is gonna be more than enough for most people though. Kahit magkarga ka ng 20 sako ng bigas, may sobra pa rin. The Ford Ranger Raptor has liftgate dampers, which is a huge help when you're loading cargo. I can lift the liftgate with just 2 fingers, and even Bethel can also do it with ease.
Yeah, you can feel the power here.
I've talked about the Ranger Raptor's off-road performance in my previous videos, but since we're trying to make this video as comprehensive as possible, we'll try to talk about it briefly here. The Ranger Raptor is designed for off-road use. It has longer suspension arms for a wider track, and also for longer suspension travel. It has Fox shocks on all 4 corners. The Fox shocks alone should be worth the extra money, but you get a lot more than that. Instead of leaf springs, it also has coil springs at the back. And also the chassis has been reinforced so it can take more abuse. You could use the Ranger Raptor for rock crawling, but it's more designed for Baja driving or going fast on rough terrain. It can do jumps really well. We had the opportunity to literally launch the Ranger Raptor several feet in the air. Some of the ramps were taller than the Raptor itself, and the suspension never bottomed out. It was a 2-day event where the vehicles were torture tested, and I think all the units made it out unscathed. That's a testament to the toughness of the vehicle. Also, like I said, that was one of the most fun things that I've done on 4 wheels. I wasn't an off-road guy before, but it made me want to consider taking up off-roading as a hobby. I think the Ranger Raptor is the best pickup in the Philippine market right now because it ticks a lot of very important boxes for a lot of buyers. There are buyers who value looks the most. Gusto nila yung maporma. For those people, I don't think there's a pickup under 2 million pesos that offers this much porma out of the box. Nothing even comes close. You could buy a regular pickup and put bigger tires and put a lift on it, but if you do that, you'll be spending more anyway. Might as well buy a pickup that's already pormado. There are also buyers who want performance out of their vehicles. Yung naghahanap ng laruan, something that's not just a means of transportation, but also a hobby. If you want to take up off-roading as a hobby, this is the vehicle to buy. So there are also those who want practicality out of their vehicle. And in that department, the Ranger Raptor also doesn't disappoint. It can carry loads, it can seat 5 people comfortably. It may not be as fuel efficient as smaller pickups, but it's fuel efficient enough. And it uses diesel. Diesel is cheaper than gasoline here in the Philippines. A performance vehicle that can return up to 9 kpl in the city is the holy grail for a lot of car enthusiasts. There are also buyers who want to get good value for their money. The Ranger Raptor isn't the most affordable pickup out there, but it's just a bit more expensive than other high-end 4x4 pickups. It's just a bit more expensive than the Hilux Conquest 4x4, but it offers so much more than the competition. I've reviewed a lot of cars, but only a few qualify as vehicles that I would like to own in the future. The Ford Ranger Raptor is one of those vehicles. It makes a lot of sense. It's practical, it's relatively fuel efficient, it can go practically anywhere, and it's priced just a bit more than your average high-end pickup. But it's also more than just that. It's the kind of vehicle that doesn't just appeal to your head, it appeals to your heart as well. Okay, so you asked me some questions about the Ford Ranger Raptor on my community post, and I'll try to answer some of them. Number one from unknown, is the ride quality better than the Everest? I think this is one of the most comfortable vehicles that I've driven. I think it offers a good balance of comfort and performance. It feels soft, but it doesn't wallow so much in the corners, especially for a vehicle of this size. Yeah, so it's more comfortable than the Everest. It's more comfortable than any PPV that I've driven, and I think I've driven everything. And definitely, it's the most comfortable pickup by a huge margin. How is it for city driving? From Elijah 222. Specifically for commuting, if possible, try sitting on the second row seats to experience the AC. It's not bad for city driving. If you can drive a regular Ford Ranger, you can drive this easily. It is a bit wider, but it's not really that much wider. And I like the fact that you can see the rear fender on the side mirror, so you can more accurately gauge the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle next to you. In terms of the AC, I've tried sitting at the second row. As you can see, this unit that I have doesn't have a tint, but the aircon is good enough that it can cool the entire cabin without needing aircon vents at the second row. Next question from Marco Campo. Do you think it's underpowered or just right? Some say it's too slow. It is the most powerful pickup in the segment, but if you're expecting sports car like acceleration, you might be disappointed. This is a performance truck, but it's designed more for handling, specifically for off-road handling. It's not really designed for straight line acceleration. And even if the acceleration isn't that impressive, the torque is pretty good. So you have a lot of pulling power. Okay, from Frederick Santa Ana, how much better is it compared to other pickups? I think it's the best pickup that you can buy right now, by far. In terms of looks, performance. The only thing is that the maximum cargo capacity is slightly lower, but it's still capable of carrying heavy loads. So unless you're really into carrying like construction equipment, then I don't think it would matter. Thank you for watching the video. I would appreciate it very much if you would click on like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.